Tunisia's history is a 3,000-year saga of indigenous Berber roots, powerful maritime empires, Islamic golden ages, and pioneering modern political transformations. Situated at a crucial crossroads of the Mediterranean, this North African nation has served as a cultural bridge connecting Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. Ancient antiquity, Berbers and the might of Carthage before written records. Tunisia was populated by the indigenous Amazigh, Berber, peoples. They formed early agricultural communities and established sophisticated trade networks. Phoenician arrival around the 9th century BCE. Phoenician sailors from Tyre established coastal outposts, including Utica and Bizerti. The rise of Carthage. Founded in 814 BCE by Queen Dido, Carthage evolved into a wealthy maritime empire. It dominated Mediterranean commerce and expanded its agricultural footprint across North Africa. The Punic Wars. Carthage's immense wealth inevitably sparked conflict with the rising Roman Republic, despite the brilliant military campaign of Carthaginian General Hannibal, who marched elephants across the Alps during the Second Punic War. Rome conquered the region. Carthage was completely destroyed in 146 BC. Roman, Vandal, and Byzantine rule following the fall of Carthage. Tunisia became the centerpiece of the wealthy Roman province known as Africa Proconsularis. This era left an indelible mark on the landscape and ultimately gave the entire African continent its name. Rome's granary. The region prospered immensely, serving as Rome's primary supplier of olive oil and grain. The Romans constructed grand cities, advanced aqueducts, and the massive amphitheatre of El Jem. Early Christianity. By the 2nd century CE, Tunisia emerged as a vibrant hub of Latin Christianity, producing influential theological figures like Tertullian and Saint Cyprian. Invasions and decline. As the Western Roman Empire collapsed, the Germanic Vandals seized the territory in 429 CE, establishing a brief kingdom. In 534 CE, the Byzantine Empire under Justinian reconquered the region, but heavy taxation and religious persecution left the local population deeply alienated. Important regional seat, the Fatimids and Zirids. The Shia Fatimid Caliphate arose in Tunisia during the early 10th century before relocating their capital to Cairo. Subsequent Berber dynasties, like the Zirids, ruled until massive migrations of Arab tribes, Banu Hilal, in the 11th century deeply Arabaized the rural population. The Hafsid Golden Age, 1236 to 1574 CE. The Hafsid dynasty consolidated power, establishing Tunis as the definitive capital. This was an era of booming trade with Europe, artistic achievement, and the expansion of the historic Zaytuna Mosque and University. Ottoman sovereignty and the Beys in the 16th century. Tunisia became a battleground between the Spanish Empire and the Ottoman Turks. The Ottomans secured final victory in 1574, integrating Tunisia into their empire. Autonomous dynasties. Though officially an Ottoman province, local military rulers known as Deys and Beys gradually achieved practical independence. The Husainid dynasty, founded in 1705, ruled Tunisia as a sovereign state while retaining nominal ties to Istanbul. The Barbary corsairs. Tunis became a key base for privateering in the Mediterranean, bringing in wealth but drawing aggressive responses from European navies. 19th century. Modernization. Seeking to resist European imperialism, Tunisian leaders initiated ambitious reforms. In 1861, Tunisia adopted the Ahd Eliman Fundamental Pact, making it the very first country in the Arab world to implement a modern, written constitution. However, aggressive spending and external pressures led to severe state bankruptcy. French Protectorate, 1881 to 1956. Using financial instability and border skirmishes with Algeria as a pretext, French troops invaded the country. The Treaty of Bardo, signed in 1881. This treaty forced the Bey to accept a French protectorate. Unlike direct colonization in Algeria, the French retained the beylical administration on paper while controlling all military, foreign, and financial affairs. Colonial infrastructure. The French invested heavily in modern railways, ports, public health, and European-style education. But these developments explicitly favoured French settlers over indigenous Tunisians. The rise of nationalism. Resistance steadily mounted in the early 20th century. In 1934, a brilliant young lawyer named Habib Bourguiba co-founded the Neo-Desta Party, which spearheaded the political mobilization for total independence. Bourguiba became the country's first prime minister and quickly abolished the old monarchy, declaring a republic in 1957. Bourguiba focused heavily on secularization, widespread public education, and unmatched social progress, most notably through the Code of Personal Status, which granted women unprecedented legal rights in the Arab world. However, his regime remained firmly authoritarian. The Ben Ali regime, 1987 to 2011. In a bloodless palace coup in 1987, Prime Minister Zine El Abidine Ben Ali declared Bourguiba mentally unfit to rule and assumed the presidency, while Ben Ali's administration initially stabilized the economy and suppressed domestic extremism. It grew increasingly corrupt, repressive, and reliant on a heavy police state apparatus. The Jasmine Revolution and beyond. On December 17, 2010, a young street vendor named Mohamed Bouazizi set himself on fire in city Bouzid to protest police corruption and economic despair. The Arab Spring. This tragic spark ignited mass popular protests across the nation, culminating in the ouster and exile of President Ben Ali on January 14, 2011. Known as the Jasmine Revolution, this monumental event catalyzed the broader Arab Spring uprisings across the region. Democratic experimentation. Unlike other nations in the region, Tunisia successfully managed a delicate democratic transition,